Hey everyone, how's it going? Happy New Year. Hey, well, before this video begins, where I feel like, there was a lot of films to celebrate from the past year that are really good actually came out in 2019. Before I start the video and give my list, though, you're actually getting a second introduction here because I've already filmed the video. There's this one last honorable mention I want to give that I forgot to give. Shut up, dogs. I'm trying to give this movie credit here. I actually really enjoyed it. Also, one thing I should mention before this video starts as well is that this is going to be my biased top 10 of those movies that I enjoyed the most this year. Because I was being critical about them. There are some movies that probably would not made the top 10, but these are my top 10 biased ones that I personally enjoyed the most. But one honorable mention that I forgot to mention, I want to mention real quick, is for sure Zombieland Double Tap. It had been 10 years since the original, which was, right next to Shaun of the Dead, the best zombie like apocalypse comedy movie we've gotten of all time. And with the 10-year wait, still delivered. The cast is just as great as you remember them, and it's definitely a fun ride, and definitely has one of the best after credit scenes I've ever seen in a movie. It is hilarious. But yep, and then I'll let this video get started, and y'all can check out the rest of my honorable mentions and my top 10 films of the past 2019. We have a lot to look forward to in this next year, 2020. Hope y'all have a happy new year, and enjoy the video. Hey everyone, how's it going? Jody here. As you know, usually on this channel, I'm usually here to just stream games and stuff like that, but as I mentioned before, I'm a big movie buff as well. So it's one of the reasons I wanted to do this video, and since I'm a huge movie buff, another reason I wanted to do this video is because there's a lot of good, actually a lot of really good films this year in 2019. I was surprised, so I wanted to do a video of my top 10 for that reason. A good, hopefully focused camera video. Come on, camera, focus. Cheer. God, I hate this camera. Piece of trash. Anyways, luckily we didn't have too many trash movies this year. Speaking of which, hopefully that's good enough quality. I apologize, my camera's being off. But again, wasn't too many off movies this year. We won't talk about Cats that just came out. These are the top 10 best films of the year. Before I start, I will give some honorable mentions here. There are quite a few here I have for honorable mentions. First off, Fighting with My Family. It was a biopic comedy that came out this year about a wrestler named Paige and how she got started. It was a really cool, inspiring story, and just like how most good biopics are, you don't even have to know anything about wrestling to even enjoy this film. It's just a really great, uplifting film. And speaking of uplifting films, coincidentally, another one that's also about wrestling, kind of. Really good, feel-good film almost of the year for me. Peanut Butter Falcon. This was a small indie film I highly suggest y'all check out. It has Shia LaBeouf in it, but it's about like this mental kid that escapes the living quarters that he is in. I don't know, wherever they keep mental. I don't want to say mentally retarded, but can't think of another word for it. Oh well, I apologize. Wherever they keep kids who have learning difficulties. Yeah. Anyways, he escapes because he has a VHS tape of like an old wrestling school that he's trying to escape and go to, and he finds like this guy running from the law, Shia LaBeouf, who decides to take him there. It's a really cool, uplifting story. Why the one chick is supposed to be watching out the kid like start trying to hunt him down and stuff. Well, it's a really cool, uplifting story. Definitely go check that out. A great original horror movie that came out this year. Another fantastic one from Jordan Peele. Although I didn't like it as much as his first debut film, Get Out. Get Out was probably one of the top 10 films of the decade for me. Us, though, was still really, really good. That's a great film to go check out. Another honorable mention there. Okay, another one, Spider-Man Far From Home. I felt like Spider-Man Far From Home, honestly, to me, is probably the best live-action Spider-Man movie we've gotten yet, in my opinion. And there's some great visuals in there with Mysterio. I'm so glad they finally introduced Mysterio. It's one of my favorite villains in the comics. Anyways, next honorable mention, The Irishman on Netflix. Really good. Go check it out. It's really good to see Martin Scorsese going back doing like a mob movie again. Because Goodfellas is one of my favorite movies of all time, and watching him and Robert De Niro, him directing Robert De Niro, probably one of the last times, is a really good treasure to go check out. It's a 3.5-hour movie. Yeah, they probably could cut 30 minutes of it down, but it's really good film to enjoy. Next honorable mention would be Toy Story 4. I'm like, when they first announced Toy Story 4, I was like, is this really necessary? Like, do we need to milk this any further? But no, it was actually felt really necessary by the end of it. It was a really good story arc for Woody, and I feel like ended the whole series for, not just Andy, but like Woody and like the whole toys as well. It was really good. Definitely great for them to check out the family as well. Next honorable mention, AD Astra probably had some of like probably my favorite film I've ever seen in IMAX. Like, it is visually stunning. Probably the most visually stunning film since Space Odyssey, in my opinion. And another honorable mention, last honorable mention, It Chapter 2. I actually really enjoyed that sequel. The cast was so spot on, like the older cast, who they cast as the older kids. I just wish we could spend a little bit more time in backstory with them. And which sucks, is you don't think you would say that in an almost 3-hour long movie, but instead they have them split up into stuff throughout the film, even though they're really good together. But still, I thought it was a pretty good sequel. Anyways, so now we'll get to my top 10 of the year. At number 10, we have Marriage Story. So this is actually on Netflix. Y'all can go watch it and check it out on Netflix. It's really good. It has Scarlett Johansson in it, who you all probably know, Black Widow. It has Adam Driver. That's the guy who plays Kylo Ren in the new Star Wars movies. And oh my gosh, the performances in this movie are flawless. They're freaking amazing. And it feels so real too. It feels like real life. Like, they handle the whole, reality of divorce really well in this movie. And like, you're not on either one's side. Like, you feel for like both characters. It's a really well done film. I highly suggest you check it out. Like, honestly, we'll see where Joker lies on the list, and I'm not going to spoil where. But honestly, I thought the whole year of like Joaquin Phoenix has got to win the Oscar for Joker. Like, there's no one that could stop him. But honestly, after watching Marriage Story, I think he has some competition with Adam Driver. Alright, anyways, my 9th favorite film of the year. This one was definitely the surprise of the year for me. For sure, standout surprise of the year for me. Ready or Not, check this movie out. Like, seriously, go check this out. It's a really fun, unique movie. It's basically this chick that marries into this crazy rich family who basically got rich off of board games and stuff. And they have like a tradition where like each new member of the family has to play a board game at midnight. There's one bad card that they can draw. So they draw a card, and whatever is on that card is the game they play. There's one bad card though, and that's the game of hide and seek, where they believe that if they don't kill her by dawn, hunt her down and find her and kill her by dawn for some sacrifice, that they'll all die. And so she has to try to survive till dawn. It's crazy. It's a crazy fun time of a movie, and it's probably one of like my favorite dark comedies of the year too. So definitely go check it out. Another super fun movie. I feel like they just keep upping some of the sequences in each of these movies. Number 8 is John Wick 3. Again, they just up everything in these movies, and there's a choreography scene in this movie that's so well done with like Halle Berry, and she has like these two dogs. They're not German Shepherds, but they look like German Shepherds. I can't remember what the actual type of dogs they are, but there's so many well done scenes in this movie. And like, there's choreography scenes where he's like riding on a horse, and they continue to further the story and the whole mystery of the Batman characters even further. It's just really well done. I'd highly recommend it. John Wick 3 is a blast. Number 7 for me this year was Knives Out. The entire cast in this movie is phenomenal, and I'm just so glad a movie like this exists, because it's so rare these days that we've had a great like murder mystery like this comedy. Like, it's definitely the best one since Clue. Number 5 on my list is Doctor Sleep. This was a sequel to A Shining that wasn't as greatly advertised, so it didn't do too well at the box office. But my God, if you're a fan of The Shining, my God, does this film deliver? Like, this was probably one of the, for sure, best storytelling films of the year. Like, for sure, had a great character arc. All the acting performances in this movie just carry this thing. Like, it is almost 3 hours long and doesn't even feel like it. And there's like a director's cut coming on DVD that I'm like super stoked for. Go check out Doctor Sleep. Number 4 for me for this past year would be Ford versus Ferrari. Again, some amazing performances both from Matt Damon and Christian Bale. Christian Bale, I feel like, is one of probably the best actors of our generation. But yeah, they both really deliver here, and like, you don't even have to be into like cars to enjoy this movie. There's something for everyone in this movie, and it's such a fun ride. Um, Now, one thing I was going to mention before I started this going down the top 10 is that this list would have been a bit different if I was like critically doing this list, if that makes sense. But this list, I just decided to make it completely biased. What I enjoyed. So some of these would be more guiltingly on my top 10 rather than like critically, even though I think they are all good films. But you'll see what I mean when we get to number 3. Number 4, though, for sure, Joker. Oh my gosh. Such the best character piece we have had this year. It was such a great character piece. Joaquin Phoenix did so much to get into that role, too, and it shows. It's such a good period piece, too, and one of the best films. Finally, a great film that we've gone like on the subject of mental illness, and it's such a good film that represents society today. It's definitely a must see. Number 3, as I said, this movie would not actually be on my top 10 films of the year critically, but you know, guilty fan me and me still loving the movie and my enjoyment, my biased enjoyment. The Rise of Skywalker lands at number 3 for me. I had such a fun time with this film. Now, I said critically, this film would not make the top 10 for me if I was like being critical about it. Because yes, it is really fast paced, and you can tell Disney did not have a plan going into this trilogy. I think it's made pretty evident because Palpatine's back, but it's pretty vague in the movie of how he even comes back. I think you can tell that it was J.J. Abrams coming back and being like, oh crap, they killed my character Snoke in episode 8. Break the glass, bring in Palpatine. But there are some things that they tie in there that are mentioned in like the prequels in number 3 that Palpatine mentions that come to fruition in this film, and it does wrap overall what J.J. was given. It wraps off the entire saga quite nicely, I feel like. And it is a bit not the best paced, and it is extremely fast paced and a lot to process, but I do love the fast paced energy of it. I've seen the film 4 times, and not once in any of the showings did I ever get bored. And once you like, it's a lot to process the first time, but and when I watched it the second time, having processed everything, I feel like I loved it even more. Definitely a fun ride. It's in my top 3. I personally love it. I'd check it out. Number 2. Oh my gosh. So, in 2000, oh my gosh. The past, in May, I got home from like a 2-year mission. I was gone for 2 years. I couldn't watch movies or anything. I was how to teach people about the gospel, like helping serve people and stuff. And I'm a big Marvel and Star Wars fan. Read the comics when I was a little kid. Whew, man, and I grew up on the MCU. Like, Iron Man was one of the films I remember, being really young, that me going to with my mom to the theater back in like 2008. That I just loved. So I've been with the MCU ever since I was a little kid. So, oh my gosh, this movie. To see, like, if you would have asked me, because as I said, I've read the comics ever since I was a little kid. If you would have asked me if a movie like Endgame, like, would ever happen, if we would ever see like the Infinity War with like the Infinity Saga from the comics with Thanos happen in like the movies, live action, if we'd ever see this many superheroes on screen ever in a film, I would say you were high. I would say you were like absolutely crazy. But to see this actually happen and how they ended up this 24 film saga was beautiful and brought a tear to my eye for sure. It's an extremely well done film. Number 1 on my list, though, a movie that did make me tear up as well. This movie delivers like all the emotions for me and just has such a great message. It's amazing how lighthearted it is with the content that they're dealing with. And that movie is Jojo Rabbit. I would definitely go check it out. It's little German boy. He's like a fanatic. He's like during World War II, so he's like a little kid. So he's taught everything about Hitler. So he's like obsessed with Adolf Hitler, and he like kind of, I don't know. There's not much you can say about the movie without spoiling it. But yeah, then he finds out that his mom's actually hiding this Jewish girl secretly in their house. So he learns to like look at the other perspective, and it's just such a beautifully done film. It is so hilarious as well. It's definitely a great one to check out. Like it makes you laugh, it makes you cry. Like, man, like both times, like I shed tears of sadness in this film, like tears of joy by the end of it. It's a really good film. Made you go through like every emotion. It's a roller coaster of a movie that is so much fun. But yeah, those are my top 10 films of the year. I definitely highly recommend you go check out. And looks like there's a lot of good stuff coming out in 2020. I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, what did you guys think of 2019 for films? Did you like it? Let me know what you liked before, or what your list is, and what you're looking forward to in 2020. And I'm looking forward to hopefully maybe starting some movie reviews here in 2020 as well. So I'll be having those on my channel as well. And of course, always more gaming content to stream in the future. So see y'all later. Peace out.